talk online about William Barrett after the Dateline episode. I haven't actually seen the episode myself because I'm in Australia, and also because it would annoy the shit out of me, so I'm not going to watch it. But I thought I'd do a little bit more of a search for William. I've had a look at his record, and it seems that he has gotten in trouble with the law a few times for theft, a couple of times in the early 2000s. This one shows in 2002, August, he was convicted of theft by deception, and he got 50 hours of community service. And it does say in here that he was under the influence of drugs. Two in 2001 are both theft by shoplifting and deception, where he's stolen something from Walmart and then taken it back to return it for the money. I'll also show you, this is the docket for Edrick's case. Let me just find it. Okay, so this is a motion in limine from the state where they are trying to prevent the defendant from referencing, either in opening statements, direct or cross-examination of witnesses, or in any other context, a polygraph examination that Athens Clark County Police conducted with William Brian Barrett on January 16, 2019. This is about him not passing the polygraph test, which he did voluntarily, by Deputy Chief Jeff Clark. So it looks like that was the deputy chief at the time. It says that there's some dispute about the results of the examination, and also of note, no evidence whatsoever has been developed sufficient to tie Mr. Barrett to the assault and murder of the victim, according to them. But they don't like to turn over discovery. So, but to be fair, polygraph tests are not admissible evidence because they're not considered reliable. So that's fine. But I would be questioning maybe what else they might be withholding. Here is just where the defence consented to that motion in limine, and because there was also something about the defence having to put forward evidence. They were going to introduce another third party culprit. They actually had to have admissible evidence. I'm sorry, but isn't that what the prosecution is supposed to do? And like, just because, why does Edrick have to find his own evidence? They clearly haven't given everything. There's a few requests for additional discovery that just were denied. So how is he supposed to, number one, come up with evidence for his own innocence, however many years later, plus find all this admissible evidence that someone else did it? I thought that was the job of the actual police. And where's the bloody evidence that Edrick did it? Hey, where's that? This next one is the 2007 DNA test, the mitochondrial testing. So here is William Barrett. You can see here that there was no match. The mitochondrial DNA sequence obtained from the hairs number 2 and number 4 has more than 2 differences than the sequences obtained from the reference samples from William Barrett, Chris Hall, Ashley Hall, Jim Barker, Chris Melton, Valerie Hall, Gus Suarez, Jeffrey Hall, Stephen Barden, and Augustus Curtis. So these individuals and their maternal relatives can be excluded as the source of these hairs. And then you can see up here that it was DNA from hair number 8 that is consistent with the sequence obtained from the reference samples from Ashley Hall and Chris Melton. It's different at more than 2 base locations obtained from all the other ones. So therefore, Ashley Hall, Chris Melton and their maternal relatives cannot be excluded as the source of this hair. So there it is. Science. The date that this was printed, December 2018, that was just before they did the interview with William Barrett. So they must have been doing some more work around that time, but apparently they couldn't find any evidence whatsoever. But he worked as the maintenance guy, and he had a key. He had a master key. Like I said, I didn't watch the Dateline episodes, so I actually haven't watched Melanie Little's coverage of it either, because I need to protect my mental health and wait until I'm actually prepared